The year is 2016, also known as the year Makoto Shinkai's life was changed forever. From being one of the top rising directors in the anime industry to a household name in Japan and in many parts around the world, when it came to the future, all eyes were on him. But with this next film also raises a couple of questions. Mainly, is Shinkai going to go back to the drawing board and make another story, much like what he's been making in the past? Or with his newfound success he's obtained, will he be forced to make a by-the-numbers anime film that'll play it safe and it'll look the same forever? The answer is a little bit of both. Let's find out how he did it in the latest edition, and as of right now, the final edition of the Makoto Shinkai project, Episode 8, Weathering with You. The conversation started going in August of 2018 when Shinkai announced he was making a new film and would later release the first poster and portion of the story in December, which leads me to my first big topic about the film: the marketing. Now, it's not uncommon to see anime series or films have some sort of product placement in their films, and while some people may not notice it, just like here in the West, Japan also has commercials with characters from upcoming anime shows or films promoting something. In the movie, there are many examples of that. There are many Japanese companies being shown, as well as Forever 21, and spoiler alert, McDonald's, which plays a huge role in the film, so huge in the plotline that the movie kind of feels like a part McDonald's advertisement. And it was no surprise there would be adverts on the air in Japan leading up to the film's release from companies like Suntory Natural Mineral Water, Misowa Homes, which I think is real estate, the local transit system, Cuppo Noodles, which plays a small part in the movie, not as big as McDonald's. They were even a part of a Google ad, definitely didn't expect that, and SoftBank, which has both a live-action commercial with a talking dog who I assume is their spokesman, and an animated commercial with a pretty cool cameo.
A man has...
誰この子こういう子が好きなんだ
違いますよ
もっと見せてギガ使い放題
But my favorite has to be from GKids, when they got the rights to show it here in the West. On their website, they recreated the very website Hodoka and Hina made, where people can request sunshine for any event. You can go to the site still, even after the movie came out, and request the 100% sunshine girl to bring you good weather. Actually, I'm pretty curious about this. I'll actually try it out right now. Alright, well, let's take a look at this website. Do you wish that the rain would stop your next event? Drop a request below and 100% sunshine girl will bring you good weather. A sunny picnic date with my boyfriend. Alright, I think some of these have already happened, with the exception of like a couple. Oh, this was my favorite. I wish for a sunny day for my D&D session. I mean, I don't know how that affects the D&D session. Maybe it'll help your friends get to your house quicker. I don't know. My best friend is getting married. Please let there be clear skies with no snow on her special day. I mean, it says on the front that it'll stop the rain and clear the skies with just a prayer, so I don't know about snow. Alright. Look at this! They got Seattle's weather down to a T. Holy shit. It's just rain, 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 and rain. Every day. That's basically what's happening over here and has been forever. Might as well make a request. Alright, do that. God, when should I do this? Pay it forward. Not as big as people expected, but over 14 billion yen, $168 million, including over 7 million in 486 theaters in North America, making it one of the highest grossing films GKids has ever distributed, and once again, it made an appearance in the upcoming awards circuit. For the Oscars, it became the first anime film since Princess Mononoke to be submitted for Best International Feature Film, but didn't get in. Honestly, I think it would have lost because it would have been on the same level as Parasite. It got on the Best Animated Feature shortlist, but also didn't get in, and it tied 2 films from 2001, Spirited Away and Millennium Actress, for the most nominations at the Annies, the Animation Awards, and didn't win any of them. According to Shinkai, there were multiple places of inspiration that he took to make this movie, from a short story about 2 teenagers falling in love to a novel by the same person about a boy who runs away from home to find his mom and sister, and, spoilers, also has fish falling from the sky, to even different aspects from a number of his previous films, from the plot similarities of Voices of a Distant Star about a girl who can control the fate of the world and a boy who tries to do something about it, and has some spoilery stuff similar to 5 centimeters per second and Garden of Words. These were some of the aspects that Shinkai added into a film where it felt like he had full creative control of what happened in this film, while at the same time had no creative control. What I mean is, Shinkai is in a very unique position. Because of all these financial investors looking to capitalize on the next film from the biggest name in the industry, he can't just go back to what he was doing 10 years ago, because that's not what people are expecting to see from him. I like what Shinkai is making today, so it pains me to say that there is a chance that he will spend the rest of his career trying to make lightning strike twice. This is something that anyone who is coming off creating what a majority of people would consider their masterpiece or magnum opus is, when you're making a follow-up, there is no one who is interested in what you're doing that won't take your eyes off you. So I'm happy he at least tried to put a personal stamp on this before the final cut was sent to theaters and festivals. As for the ensuing reception, there have been multiple articles and reviews that I couldn't go through without hearing people compare this movie to his other works. Not in the way where there are aspects that are similar, like what I just did earlier about saying the plot was similar to Voices and 5 centimeters per second. It's literally the entire film, nothing specific, it's just the film as a whole. This is not what's gonna happen here. I believe if I go down this route, it would actually dumb down the experience I had while watching this in theaters, because this is a really good movie and I don't want to downgrade it just because it looks and feels similar to something else. This is also where I'm going to put up a spoiler warning, because there are a few things I'm going to say here. For anyone who has not seen it in theaters, I am sorry. Probably have to wait when the Blu-ray comes out in May. Regardless, you've been warned. The story is pretty well structured and never felt overwhelming, although there were certain plot transitions that felt a little abnormal, and the Shinto belief scenes that were introduced and the characters around it kind of felt forced. The constant interaction and chemistry between the characters were pretty great. The reveal regarding Hina's actual age was a pretty nice touch. The scenes with Hina and Hodoka felt pretty realistic, even though Hodoka's overall development was pretty lacking, as it didn't feel like he really evolved as a character over time in the film. The supporting characters were all consistently written and entertaining while bringing something to the story at the very same time. Nagi is 50%, if not 60% of the reason why I think this is Shinkai's funniest film. He is a straight up pimp. Natsumi is bae, and Keisuke did a really great job at representing the first glimpses of society to Hodoka, and it makes it all the more effective when the subplot around him and his daughter draws some parallels to Shinkai as a father, as he took some aspects from his own time trying to take care of his daughter and puts it into this character in this film. The shots of the numerous weather effects in the film were remarkable, as it was able to show both the good and bad sides of the world around us. The sound design during these scenes also felt very lifelike, and my only issue was that there were a couple of scenes of people running that felt pretty choppy. The overall CGI in the film was pretty noticeable, although at times where it felt like the film was aware of how easy it is to spot. There's a scene where it almost looked like CoMix Wave Films animated over actual footage that was recorded from a helicopter during their 2 months of location scouting, and while the shot itself was really well done, the fireworks that were added to it were clearly CG, but unlike some people, I wasn't really bothered by it overall. There are some people who think that if they notice the CG, it's bad. I mean, sure, in a way, that's kind of true. In this case, it kind of felt like they were kind of aiming for that, and I just got to acknowledge it as it is, and I wasn't really bothered by it. The soundtrack was once again done by Radwimps, by now the biggest J-rock band in the country, if not the world, after what they did a few years back. After bashing in all the glory, they got back to work after releasing the last soundtrack, and actually talked about what happened to them after they got famous in the first single since that soundtrack, Paparazzi, back in 2017, which, if I was a producer, honestly, I would find a way to sample that song, and fast. There are some parts that I would absolutely sample. It was one of a few singles which were later inserted on their most recent studio album, the Anti Generation, which, for people who know me on Discord, that's may or may not be the reason why one of my names is very similar to that. And they had recently just got off tour to promote the album late last year. As for the soundtrack, just like last time, it took a year and a half to make, and it put out singles like Voice of Wind, Grand Escape, which makes the scene where Hodoka finds Hina enough to give you fucking chills, Will Be Alright, a song that Shinkai had in his back pocket since he started animating the movie, couldn't find a place to put it, and decided to put it in the last minute. And the big single off of it, although it wasn't the best song, it was the most popular one, the song Is There Still Anything That Love Can Do, which is also the best English track Yoshiro Noda had ever put on a soundtrack. As of right now, I was only able to watch the subtitled version, so I can't really say anything about the dub. I can't say anything if there are any English versions of the other songs that I just mentioned. What surprised me about it the most was that the voice actors that were picked out of the 2,000 people who auditioned were teenagers. If I remember correctly, I think the guy that was playing Hodoka was 18 and the girl playing Hina was 17. So the character is literally older than the voice actors, and they were pretty good. I'm already looking forward to seeing them in future projects down the road if they can put up a pretty solid performance like this. Overall, Makoto Shinkai tried something I don't think he has done in a long while. He made a movie that was grounded in his own thing, with a much more realistic narrative, as the whole fantastical aspect played second fiddle to the inner struggle that Hodoka and the other characters were going through. If not for the lack of development towards Hodoka and the rather abrupt ending, this would be up there as one of my favorite anime films of all time. Doesn't mean it's bad, I just wouldn't consider it a classic down the road. Even though I'm a little weary about what Shinkai's next film will look like or feel like, I will be excited for it nonetheless. And with that, I'm giving Weathering With You a 9 out of 10.
Make it real.
もっと見せてギガ使い放題
若いっていいな。
ソフトバンク